Hello and welcome to Town Talk. I'm your host, Rose Highland-Sharpe. This very inspirational program is brought to you by Highland Communications for storytelling, edutainment, music, and much more. Call at 910-528-0718. Stay tuned for the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Sunday service, January 2020, held at the H.A. Wilson Auditorium on the campus of Southern Pines Primary School, Southern Pines, North Carolina. The sponsor, Faith Missionary Baptist Church, Pastor Matthew Walden. The MC, Mitch Capel. Music provided by the Voices United, led by Roderick Brower. Village Chapel Choir, Pinehurst, Miss Claire Fields. The Reverend Dr. Paul G. Murphy and Sharon Murphy. Keynote speaker, Reverend Debra Gray, pastor at Blacknell Chapel AME Zion Church. And, of course, there are notable community chaplains and ministers and pastors and dignitaries of the township of Southern Pines, North Carolina, and Moore County. You'll see yourself, friends, family, and everybody around the community of Southern Pines, North Carolina, and Moore County. Enjoy the program.
time we're going to stand and sing Lift Every Voice. Words on the back of the book. Now we will have Walden from Matthew Walden and education from Chaplain Beverly Jesse. Good evening. One day, three older women were having a conversation about their memories, problems as aging seems to set in. The first woman said, "Sometimes I feel myself standing in front of the refrigerator holding a jar of Band-Aids, and I can't for the life of me remember whether I need to put it away or make a sandwich with it." The second woman then said, "Yes, I know exactly what you mean. Sometimes I'll be standing halfway up the stairs, and I can't remember if I was on my way up or on my way down." The third woman then knocked her hand on the table rather smugly and said, "Well, I'm glad I don't have that problem, knock on wood." As she rapped the knuckles on the table, she said, "That must be someone at the door. Let me go." We want to welcome you today to the Reverend Dr. Martin King Jr. service this evening. Yes, I said Reverend Dr. Martin King Jr. As important as the doctor is in Martin King Jr.'s title, I believe the Reverend is much greater. You see, the Reverend reminds us of Martin King Jr.'s faith, where he got his muse, his motivation to stand up in the face of wrongful discrimination. You see, without God, there is no justice, there is no peace. Without God, there is no right, there is no wrong. Without God, there is no good, there is no evil. Without a moral lawgiver, there is no moral law. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. knew this. He also knew there was a justice that this world, this society offers, as he found himself dealing with that justice on occasion while in jail. He also knew there was a justice much greater than this world has to offer, an eternal justice, a justice that makes the unjust just, that one can only get through Christ Jesus. So as we welcome you this evening, let us remember the motivation and the meaning behind the life and legacy of the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Welcome.
Will you join with me in a moment of prayer together? Gracious Lord, we pause to remember the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. We thank you for his life and the inspiration to treat one another with compassion, respect, and dignity. Oh God, please forgive us when prejudice runs through our veins. We thank you for all who will participate in this program today, and grant us a special anointing of grace as we gather to worship and remember the legacy and life of this great man. We thank you for Faith Missionary Baptist Church, Reverend Matthew Walden, Reverend Joseph Thompson, and all the others, the choirs that will share. We just ask that you would anoint us with new motivation to share in the life of justice for all. Inspire us, O Lord, all to become leaders of reconciliation and justice like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And all of God's people said, Amen.
Again, that was Matthew Walden from Faith Missionary Baptist Church in Chapel Jessup from First Health Pastoral Care. I didn't introduce myself. I think most of you know me. I'm Mitch Capel, the middle son of that beautiful woman sitting over there, my mother, Jean Capel. And as Matthew was speaking, I remembered yesterday I was so proud of myself because I had gone into a room and remembered what I had been in there for. It's a bathroom, but it still counts. Next, we'll have a selection, Walk of Life from the Village Chapel Choir of Planters. from Elder Kevin Henry of Harrington Chapel, and the Old Testament scripture, the New Testament scripture from Elder Alice Kinsey of Stonehill Baptist.
Seems like I have technical difficulties. I can't even read my scripture. But just let me say one thing. Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want.
It was always on one of the coldest days of the year. And I think that's another tradition that Matthew is continuing. And you check tomorrow's weather report. 25 degrees at 8 a.m. So bundle up, as Martin Luther King endured far worse things than cold weather. Matthew is standing on the shoulders of his father, and my friend Mitch is standing on the shoulders of his father. His father was my friend and my role model, dear sweet Felton Capel. What an honor it was for me to be Felton's friend and to speak at this service. It was extremely humbling and one of the most difficult things I've ever done. And I seem to cry every time I drive on Felton Capel Lane, and I do believe he does the same thing. And we all stand on the shoulders of Martin Luther King. Race was not something I thought much about. In fact, as a small child, I think we were traveling through Alabama when we stopped at a gas station. We went to the bathroom and there was a sign that said white and colored. Well, I guess, can you imagine this skinny blonde kid arguing with my mother? I wanted to go into the colored bathroom because I thought that was the color of the tiles and that was so much prettier. My mother probably thinks I'm still arguing with her. I'm blessed to still have her with me. I lived overseas in the mid-60s, in Okinawa, right in the middle of the Vietnam conflict. And that's all we knew was the Vietnam War. We saw coffins on the tarmac, wounded young men in the halls of the hospital. So my news source was the Army Force radio and newspaper. So I'll admit I knew very little about Martin Luther King until I returned to the States. So when I got to college in the Deep South, I was so taken back because growing up in a military family, race meant nothing to me. I felt like I had stepped back in time. I was shocked and sad how far behind the Deep South was compared to what I came from. But as a result, I started reading about the South and always had a strong interest in history, and that led me to reading Martin Luther King's speeches. No matter when you read his words, they are timeless. And they speak to you. They are still relevant today. To quote him, I say to you today, friends, that in spite of the difficulties and frustrations of the moment, I still have a dream. Well, I have a plan. And after listening to Paul Murphy yesterday, I have a mission. Thank you, Paul. And I need your help. This is not going to turn into a political speech, but I want you to know what we're doing over here. There are lots of things going on. We acknowledge several members of the West Southern Pines Task Force. They hired a study group for UNC School of Government. And starting in March, they will do a study of all the possibilities in West Southern Pines. And you all know about Carlisle Street cutting through connecting to Morganton Road. And we are working on Stevens Street to connect to Morganton Road, plus the sale of the school. A lot of positive changes coming. And we, with your Mayor Pro Tem and my dear friend and amazing gifted Paul Murphy, along with the other dedicated and talented council members, have our work cut out for us. I've always said, I know we can't physically narrow US 1, but we need to work towards socially and economically narrowing US 1. That road until his death made council member Fred Walden angry. He hated the fact that it divided the town. I would like to see us all be just Southern Pines, remembering and honoring West Southern Pines heritage, but we need to be one community. Martin Luther had a dream. Taking liberties with this quote, I had a dream that one day we will be able to sit down together at a table of brotherhood. Well, as we speak, there is a group figuratively and literally working on this, and we will sit down together up and down Broad Street, sharing a meal together. History, as you walk tomorrow, remember the good works of Fred Walden, Felton Capel, and Dr. Martin Luther King. Their broad shoulders can hold us all. Again, thank you, Matthew, for continuing your father's history, honoring Dr. King, and we will see you all in the morning as we celebrate and strive to achieve Dr. King's dream and our mission. Thank you.
Matthew asked me to come and talk about fellowship of churches and our work with Martin Luther King service through the years. I first came to Southern Pines in 1983. We had a strong and vibrant community of faith where we met regularly together, moving from church to church. And I have been blessed through my years, and I still think about the connections I made with different people in this community. Milton Capel, Fred Walden. I remember Mr. Leslie and Mrs. Klein. I remember other people that were part of this community. As a matter of fact, Paul, when I first came, your bishop was the pastor of A&E Zion Church, Reverend Monroe. And one of the great joys of being a part of fellowship with churches, it brought our communities together. We need more and more in our day and time to come together, to work together, to solve the problems of our communities, and to make this world a better place. Back in the mid-'80s, I was president of the Fellowship of Churches, and we knew that we had a problem in terms of helping people adequately in this community. And our church leaders got together. Sam Walker, Milton Capel was a part of that. Fred Walden was a part of that. John Stone, my pastor for the first 15 years of my ministry here, working alongside of him. Mike Garber, Al Hyde. And they had a vision and a dream for churches to come together and form an organization that would help people in need. And so in the mid-1980s, we started, as a consequence of the Fellowship of Churches, the Coalition for Human Care. And now it is one of the largest helping organizations in our county. We also, in those days, sponsored the community Thanksgiving service, moving into our various churches. We sponsored also Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Service, where we came together every year in celebration of his legacy and the impact of his ideas upon our nation and our world. Matthew was wise to begin his remarks tonight, reminding us that the vision of Martin Luther King Jr. was grounded in his faith. He often quoted the prophets of the Old Testament to bring righteousness to the world. As I think about where we are in this day and age, and I do grieve the fact that we no longer have a fellowship of churches that is active, but I do believe we need it. We need it to voice concerns to our communities, to speak truth to power, and to make a difference in our community. A few months ago, I did go to the task force when we're talking about what's going to happen in this community. And the one thing that I think is very important, and I said it then and I'll say it again tonight, we need economic development in our community, but it needs to be economic development that benefits this community. I believe that that would be a dream that would be consistent with the dream of Martin Luther King Jr., with all of those who have gone before us to make this world a better place. And so I pray that we as a community of faith can come together to dream big dreams to make our world a better place, and not only dream those dreams, but join hands together and work for a more just and united world. And that is why I call us to pledge to work together. Our nation, our land, our politicians are far too divided. And it's time for us to put the gospel ahead of our politics and do right things. And so prayer, and I speak to all of us, including myself. Let's work together to reinstitute the fellowship of churches and create an environment where we can change the world around us.
Yes, sir.
And let us live out the dream of Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you.
Right. Wonderful remarks from our lovely and honorable mayor, and also from Dr. David Helms. He's so true that we have to work together. It's a story I tell, and before I tell it, I say, I begin to repeat, nobody can do everything, but everybody can do something. And at the end, I tell them that as long as we're fussing and fighting with each other, we'll never get anything accomplished. As soon as we start working together and pulling together, we get anything done. That's what we need to do. All right, so thank you again for those comments. Next, we'll have a solo from Miss Claire Fields, Wading in the Water. I'm going to introduce our speaker for this evening, and Reverend Debra Luciana Brown Gray is a native of New York City. She began ministry with her late husband of 20 years, Elder Toby Walter Gray, After his death, she continued as co-founder and pastor of that ministry, which was called City on a Hill. In January of 2007, she began having evening worship services at Trinity A Design Church. Recognizing the need for a pastor in her life, she ceased having worship services and joined Trinity A Design Church in June of 2017. As an ordained minister and former United Methodist, she became a local preacher and soon an ordained deacon. In June of 2018, Bishop Kenneth Monroe appointed her to pastor Jordan Chapel A Design Church in Southern Pines. She is now serving as the pastor of Blackmall Chapel A Design Church in Sanford, North Carolina. Debra was educated in parochial schools and graduated from Cathedral High School in New York City. She received her Bachelor of Arts in English Education from Long Island University in Long Island, New York, her Master of Science in Educational Leadership from Western Governors University in Salt Lake City, Utah, and is presently working on her Master of Divinity at Duke University. Debra presently lives in Southern Pines with her youngest son.
Our mentor brought us the word on yesterday. Reverend Dr. Paul G. Murphy, praise the Lord for him, and all of the clergy that are here assembled on this night. Recognize our mayor. I've never had an opportunity to call a mayor a friend. Gosh, I'm so privileged. Our mayor, Carol Hayden, thank God for her being in office. And we are excited for the things that are going to happen in our community as a result. All of the people who have shared on this program thus far, and all of you who are here, because you are part of Martin's dream. Your presence here makes a big difference. It shows you've not forgotten him. And we celebrate that on tonight. There is a passage of scripture. And Elder Henry, I was going to tell you, I had my phone, I have a Bible app on mine too. But Cable, I don't have the Bible. I got my phone. I'm going to read this passage of scripture as it comes from the book of Exodus. And you have your Bibles with you, and I always encourage you to bring it out since this is a worship service. Let me read from Exodus, the 17th chapter, verses 8 to 16. Yeah. The word reads as thus: Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in the fight. And Moses said unto Joshua, Choose us out men, and go out fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him, and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass when Moses held up his hand that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands were heavy. And they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on the one side and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And the Lord said unto Moses, Write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under the heaven. And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nissi. For he said, Because the Lord has sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. And I could use as a meditation
question on tonight, it would be, where is Aaron and Hur? Where is Aaron and Hur? And like what I did last year, I'm going to ask y'all to, oh no, I think I did do it last year actually. Ask y'all to just pray with me for a moment before I go into the Word. God, I thank you for all that you have done in this program, in this service thus far. And as we all come here needing to hear from you, for only good things come from you, we ask that you would prepare our hearts. Speak through me. Have your way. In Jesus' name. Amen. 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 The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15, 1929. And in less than 13 years, he changed the world. He never gave up on the principle that truly all men are created equal. His speeches inspired those in the struggle and convicted the parents of those who cried, "Let's make America great again." His labor of love was noticed not only here in our country, but also in Oslo, Norway, where Dr. King received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. And although he was not the first African American to win this distinguished honor, Ralph Bunche received the award actually in 1950 for his mediation in Israel. Dr. King was, however, the youngest to receive the award at the age of 35. He stood strong in the face of danger. Surely Dr. King, back in the 1950s and the 60s, was in a fight. He was in a fight. From time to time, fighting is necessary, y'all. I was talking to a member of my congregation today, and she said, away from that place of joy and liberty that they now have. The story goes on to say that Moses told Joshua to go out and choose some men for the fight. And that he would go on the top of the hill and he would hold up his hands, and of course the Israelites would win. And that's basically what happened in the story. However, according to the story, Moses didn't go up to that hill by himself. There were two other people that went up there with him. Now, saints, when I prayed and I did to seek the Lord and what text the Lord was giving me for tonight, when I read the text, I thought the text was about fighting. I said, yeah, we have to fight, we have to fight, we have to do this. But the Lord continued to speak to my heart, saints, and I realized that the text is not actually about fighting. You know why? Joshua picked some men to be fighters, but they didn't win the battle. God won the battle. The word says that when Moses held up his hands, it's then that the Israelites were winning. So these fighters that they had, skilled as they may have been, warriors in their own right, they didn't win the battle. They couldn't win the battle. There are some battles, and I'm so glad for the message that has come through all this weekend. The message really is that God must be at the center of what we're doing. Reverend Walden said it. Dr. Murphy, who was my mentor, said it on yesterday. If we don't, and you know, and this is what I struggle with, so I'm so glad that God has his way with me. Because when I realized that the Lord was telling me to say this kind of thing, I'm like, Lord, they don't want me to preach, man. They want me to give a nice talk. They want me to be secular. They want me to be, even told. They don't want me to come in there screaming and hollering hallelujah. They want it nice and tempered. And I was nervous about saying that we need God. I kept going back and forth. I said, Lord, I don't know what it is you're telling me And this collar, as my mentor has taught me, means that the things that come out of my mouth are supposed to be pure in the eyes of God. Amen. So I've got to say what he says. Yes. We need him in the struggle, saints. The fighters that went out to fight for the people of Israel didn't win the war. It was God that won the war. But let's talk a little bit about the fact that God did tell Moses to tell Joshua to choose some fighters. Not everybody went out to war. Let me break that down. Not everybody was fit to go out to war. Some people are not fighters. Some people can't do that battle stuff. You know, when you're on the battlefield, you know, you're not comfortable. It's not like being in your home with your breakfast and your lunch and your dinner laid out for you. It's hard. You may have to sleep with your head on a rock. That's not a soft thing. You may have to lay in a pile of leaves. And somebody like me from the city, I don't like ants. So I'm not going to want to lay out somewhere on the ground with the ants crawling all over me all night long. But when you're out in battle, those are the kinds of things that you have to wrestle with. There are some people in our community that are born fighters. They don't care how difficult the struggle is. They don't care what they have to do to fight. Let's be real. Not all of us are going to be those fighters. Some people are going to be back home because according to the story, not everybody went out. So the others that did not go out obviously were home, resting in their beds, comfortable, while others were fighting. We need to respect the fighters. And we need to respect the people that are staying at home. But the story goes on to say, though, that Aaron and Hur went up to the top of this hill with Moses. Aaron and Hur went up to the top of the hill with Moses. Moses was the leader. Why would he need an Aaron and a Hur to go up to the top of the hill with him? Real simple. No one does it all by themselves. You heard great word this entire weekend from Dr. Murphy and everything that's taken place in this entire program so far. But we're not here just for the show. I'm not here for the show. God showed me that even on yesterday. That's another long story I won't tell you all about. But he showed me it's not about what you look like. It's not about anything but what I have to say to the people of this community. And the people of this community are not only the ones in Southern Heights. They're the ones in some of the other communities around us because we're all one community. We're all part of the dream that Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had. So, not everybody's going to be a fighter, but can you be an Aaron? Can you be a Hur? Can you go and help hold up the arms of the leaders in your community? Let me tell you what Aaron and Hur look like, so you'll recognize them when you see them. They're not interested in self-aggrandizement. Oh boy, let me say that again. I missed somebody. They're not interested in trying to promote themselves. They're not interested in getting their name in the paper. They're not interested in people knowing who they are. They're not interested in the publicity. We have some people in our community that do some nice things, but to be honest, they're more interested in their face being in the paper than anything else. That's not Aaron and Hur. Because last time I checked, Moses was still the leader. And Aaron and Hur didn't say, hey, but we're the ones that helped you hold up your hands. No, they just did what they could do. They weren't caring about what it was going to mean for them. They just wanted to see the job done. We had a mayor that spoke to us lovingly about the positive things that are going to be happening in our community. We had Reverend Helms to let us know that he wants us to come together again as once this community did in a fellowship of churches. Are you willing to be the Aaron and the Hur to stand behind these leaders and help them hold their hands up and help us win the battle. Because see, when you hold your hands up, it is a sign of surrender unto the Lord. We know that. When you're stopped by the police and they think that you may have a concealed weapon, you want to put your hands up in the air as quickly as you can, because you want everybody to know, I don't have anything, I surrender. The same thing is true with God. Hold your hands up and let him know that you surrender. And let him know that you don't have all the answers. Let him know that you're not picture perfect. Let him know that you or yourself have had some prejudices at some time. And if there's anybody in this room that says they've not been prejudiced at any time, you may be a liar. Okay, that wasn't me, that was the prophet. All right. We've all had some prejudices. We've all had some times when we did not look at somebody for the content of their character. We judged them based on where they lived, how they spoke, what they knew, their education, who they were connected with, related to, married to. We looked at people and we made judgment calls. That's prejudice. We need to surrender to the Lord and let him know that it is only he that can remove those things out of us. That's the first step. The other thing that happens when you hold up your hands is that you render praise to the one who is our creator. I hope everybody here has heard that Darwin's theory of, what is that? I don't even know what it is. Evolution. That it was ruled false. It's not real, y'all. He wanted something that would be anti-God, anti-creation. Yeah, that's cute, but it didn't. It's not scientifically proven. All of Darwin's expert understanding of the nature of science, he could not prove that evolution was real. So the last time I checked, there is a book. I'm studying about this book right now in Duke. It was made many hundreds of years ago, and it is still a bestseller. And in it is information on how we got here. I tend to believe the book. So since the one who has authored that book still has that book in publication, and since I've not found anything or anybody anywhere that can measure up to him, I'm going to give him my praise. I'm going to give him the glory. And I'm going to look to him to help us in this community fight the fight that we need to fight. There have been some wonderful things that have happened last year. Wonderful things in our community. With the election of our mayor and a faith and race trip to Washington, D.C., and a committee that was formed to try to bring new advancements in our community. Great things have happened. Everybody in this room has an opportunity to be a part of something great, to continue the work. What you're doing right now, saints, and I'm calling y'all saints because you are saints. Everybody in this room, God loves you. He died for every last one of us. It's not, well, he died for you, but he didn't die for me. No, he died for the world. That's all of us in this room. God is giving us an opportunity, even as he gave the people of Israel a good foundation. We have leadership in this community that love and care about making things right. What are we going to do? Please don't listen to me today and say, okay, yeah, nice message, let's just go on about our business. No, be determined. If you really are hearing me, if you're really hearing everything that's taking place this weekend, be determined to not be one who has no mission, as we learned yesterday. Even if you're not a fighter, you may not be a fighter, but at least be determined to be an Aaron and a Hur, to help hold up the hands of the leadership so that we can win this battle. God is looking at us. He's waiting for us, saints. We have an opportunity. This is 2020, brand new decade. God let us see it. What are we going to do about it? Are we going to be the Aaron and the Hur that this community needs? I hope you will.
All right, great message this evening. And now we will hear from my good friend, I used to just call him Reverend Doctor, but now I get to call him Reverend Dr. Mary Pro Tem. Paul Murphy and his beautiful wife, Sharon Murphy.
Amen. Yay, that's right.
He was a man who understood he was a man, and he knew what life was meant to be. He had a dream, not just an ordinary dream, that oh, once God's children would be free. He stood so tall, and he loved us all, and he fought that justice would prevail. Martin Luther King, we will remember him forever. Let the people sing that one day we'll be together. It was a time when all the world was on the line, and oppression was the easy out. But then he said, let freedom ring for all mankind, so why don't we all stand up and shout for peace, my friend, and for love, and then maybe one day just
by the way. I didn't know that in fact. Yeah. Lois and son, Reverend Dr. Mayor Pro Tem Paul Murphy and his beautiful wife, Sharon. Okay, amen. All right, so I want to thank a few folks before we disperse. I'd like to thank everyone who took part in this program this evening. Special thanks to Kim Wade. Yes, Kim Wade. Kim Wade, Reverend Rose Highland-Sharpe. Amen. Reverend Joseph Thompson, who's here on the stage with me. And Reverend Roderick Brown. I'd like to thank all of you here and our community, everyone here involved. I just want to let you know, I will not be at the parade tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. I would love to be here, but I'll be in Miami. I'm flying at 6 o'clock from Charlotte in the morning, so I'll try to be here spiritually with you, trying to blow some of that Miami heat up here. Yeah, so, yes, sir. Linda Watkins, I'm sorry. Linda Watkins, NWCP. Yeah, thank you, Linda Watkins. I do need my glasses with that. Yes.
Well, thank you. The recipient committee from the...
Good evening. I don't want to hold you guys any longer, but I won't have any chance to tell you all how deeply moved I am on behalf of the Community Helpers Club in West Southern Pines that we were chosen to receive the offering, you know, and that lovely lady over there knows. And I had the opportunity of going by the house on my Christmas break. We work together, we don't have much time off, but, you know, following in her footsteps. My feet are bigger than hers, but I still can't do that. But thank you guys so very much. I'm deeply moved and grateful, as well as, where is she? She's short. There she, oh, how do you get taller than me? But the Community Helpers Club, we're so grateful we're honored. Thank you guys for choosing us to be the recipients of the offering. And we will use it wisely because we work as a group, and thank you. So, thank you for this offering. If everybody could take their seats, I know this may not be the usual way you
faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy. To the only wise God, our Savior, be glory and majesty, dominion and power, both now and forever. And this auditorium, in celebration of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., say amen.
Amen. We got hello. That's a wrap, folks. Town Talk Tuesday. 2020 Ecumenical Fellowship of Churches service. 19th of January 2020. Southern Pines Primary Auditorium School. I've been doing this for quite some time. To God be the glory. Amen. This is Rose Highland-Sharpe. Town Talk TV.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Town Talk. I'm Rose Highland-Sharpe, and as always, I hope you enjoy the show. And honey, remember, some way by God's grace and mercy, if you're walking the walk, you'll be on Town Talk. Take care. God bless. Town Talk airs daily at 11 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. and other times noted in the evening on WYBE TV Spectrum Cable 3, Southern Pines, North Carolina, and on Rose Highland-Sharpe YouTube 24 hours a day. It is a service to the community.